Hey guys, this week's training tip is all about the ab wheel. So a few things to keep in mind when you're trying to use the ab wheel. First, this should look like a moving plank. So if you think about setting up for a good plank, we're gonna have a nice straight line from my shoulders to my hips, okay? A bad plank would be the opposite. You would have either your butt sticking way up in the air, you'd have a big arch in your back. A lot of times when I see people doing the ab wheel, as they go out, they get into a bigger and bigger arch. So this kind of defeats the whole purpose of the exercise. What you want to do is start with your back in a slightly almost rounded position. We call it a hollow position here. And then that position is going to allow you to maintain a neutral spine as you go through the exercise. So you'll notice in the bottom, it looks like a plank. There's not a big arch in my back. So if you can't do the exercise without the arch in your back, you need to take a few steps back, focus on nailing some planks, maybe some plank progressions without the wheel, and then work your way back up to this. Second tip is that you really need to use a full range of motion here. So this kind of relates to the first tip. If you're not able to get into full hip extension more or less, so your legs are straight, and full shoulder flexion, meaning your arms are more or less overhead, you probably are not ready for this exercise. So what I mean by that is a lot of times I see people kind of coming out to here. So see, my arms are not overhead, there's still a big bend in my hips. I'm not really getting the full benefit of the exercise. So ideally, you're gonna go all the way out, all the way back in, okay? If this exercise is not that challenging for you anymore, there are a few ways that you can make it more difficult. You can add a pause in the extended position. That's definitely gonna make it more challenging. You can do what's called an elevator. I got these from Tony Gentlecore. Basically, you're gonna do a third rollout, come back, 2/3 rollout, come back, and then a full rep. So every time you're doing a rep, you're actually doing 3 reps in one. And then ultimately, you can progress to standing rollouts. That's gonna be much more advanced. So if you're using ab wheels in your own workouts right now, take a look at your form, evaluate whether or not this is a good decision, and if it's a little easy, try one of those progressions.